Hi everyone, and welcome to our practical for your assessment day. So the agenda for today. So we're going to go over a quick introduction and a welcome. Then we're going to talk about the virtual assessment event and what exactly were you to be doing on the day. We will look into a few tips as well on preparation, look at the feedback process, and then finally we'll answer some of your hot questions. So to quickly introduce myself, so I'm Alexandra. I've been working as a university recruiter for Microsoft since January 2021. And as a fun fact, I am half French and half British, speak English fluently, but I've actually never lived in the UK.
Thanks, Alex. Hi, everybody. My name is Sophie Monnery. I am also a university recruiter based in London in the UK. I joined Microsoft back in March 2021 through a company merger. And a fun fact about me is I'm quarter German and quarter Irish. And in my spare time, I really enjoy cooking.
Hello everyone, so my name is Margaret. I also joined Microsoft in 2021, and one fun fact about me is I run long distance for fun.
So what to expect on the day of your assessment? So you will receive a personalized agenda, which will have all the details, including the team links for all the interviews and your sessions. This will be sent a couple of days before your assessment event, so don't worry if you don't have it a week in advance, that's totally normal. The location of the assessment will be over Teams, so no need to come to the office. Everything will be done virtually, and all the times listed as well on your schedule are your local time. As a quick reminder, your assessors, so your interviewers, will be called Microsoft Champs. So if you come across that term, not to worry, it will simply mean that it is your interviewers. So your personalized schedule. So the date will be emailed to you, as I mentioned, a couple of days before, so you will have everything written down there. Location is Teams, so all the interviews will be taking place virtually. As for the structure, the assessment center will consist of one 15-minute networking session with your recruiter. Then you will have 3 45-minute interviews. Each interview will be a one-to-one with you and your interviewer for that session.
So in terms of the interviews, at Microsoft, we largely use competency-based interviewing, and competency-based interview questions are open-ended and ask you to describe your past behavior, specific actions, how did you contribute to the task. They might also ask you to talk about any challenges that you had to overcome and how would you have acted in certain situations. So just be prepared to receive this type of questions. One of the good examples of a question, you won't get it on your interview, but that's just to give you an idea, is a question, tell me about time when you've worked as a team, let's say at university, and one of your team members didn't do their part of work, didn't pull in their weight on the exercise. What would you do? So that's a good example of the question to give you an idea of how to prepare. It is very important that maybe you look at your CV and look at different projects that you've done, different things at university, work experience, or anything like that, and think about examples that you could potentially use during your interviews. The assessors on your interview are there to just help you out. They are very nice people, nothing to worry about. If you need them to explain the question in more details, or you would prefer them to repeat the question, that's completely fine. Just ask. What is also very important, some of our assessors, they've been in your shoes before. They joined Microsoft through University Recruitment as well, and they know exactly how you feel at the moment. Take this opportunity not to only present yourself to Microsoft, but also find out a little bit more about Microsoft, the team, the person interviewing you, to give you an idea of Microsoft and making sure that Microsoft is the right fit for you as well. Make sure that you've got a lot of questions ready. You will be meeting 3 different people, so make sure that you ask them all different questions. In terms of how to prepare for your interview, Research will be a very important part of your preparation. Make sure that you research Microsoft not only as our technologies, but also research our mission statement, our core values. Think about times when you would align to our core values, have some examples ready to talk about them, and make sure that you understand what those means to Microsoft. Like I mentioned, we will be asking you competency-based questions, which means that you will have to tell us a story about something that you've done in the past. We recommend that you use something called SBI method, so situation, behavior, and impact. Describe the situation first, tell us as many details as possible, and then move on to behavior. So what did you do? Take your interviewer by step, explaining what did you do at every single step of the way. Also, if there were any challenges on the way, that's a key information that you also should include. And at the end, discuss the impact. So what was the end goal? Were you happy about it? Just making sure that you provide enough details for us to assess you on. In terms of the examples, you can use any examples that are relevant to the questions. This could be from your university or school, talk about projects that you completed, but also any other activities that you've done, volunteering, sports, social events, any work experience that you had. It didn't have to be within tech, it could be any work experience. If the example is relevant, that would be the right thing to do. Be prepared to also talk about things that you enjoy doing and your passions. We want to get to know you a little bit better and see how would you fit in within the culture and the team, but also be prepared to talk about your biggest challenges. This could be from university, any work experience. Think about what did you learn from those challenges and how did you overcome them, and see maybe there is something you would do differently in the future. So just be prepared to talk about all of those things throughout your interview.
Okay, so following on from what Margaret has said, I'm also just going to cover some more top tips for you as well. So I'm not going to read these all out because there's quite a lot of information on here. So please, in your own time, ensuring that you are reading through everything in this slide deck. So one thing I would definitely say is just to make sure that you're comfortable with your tech setup before attending the assessment centre. This might sound like such a simple thing to tell you, but we have seen some technical issues along the way, and it's totally common to happen, especially when you're at home. You might not have a stable Wi-Fi connection, or on the day your laptop might decide to do a reboot or a reset. So we advise turning up to your assessment centre 15 minutes before your morning or afternoon check-in, just to ensure that everything's booted up okay and you can access the team links nice and early in plenty of time. Another common thing that we like to tell candidates to prepare is to not be afraid to ask clarifying questions. So as Margaret stated just now, there's going to be a variety of questions that they're going to be asking you, but they all will be competency based. But if for whatever reason you are struggling to kind of put your idea together, or there's something that perhaps you've forgotten and you have a bit of a mind freeze, this always happens in interviews. So please don't panic. The best thing you can do is to ask your champ to either repeat the question for you, perhaps rephrase it if there was a particular word in there that you weren't aware of, or if you simply just need some time to gather your thoughts before going into your answer, simply say, "Do you mind if I just have a couple of moments before I then go into my answer?" So another common thing and a great top tip is to remain yourself and to be honest and authentic. So Microsoft want to see the real you, because essentially if you are made an offer, they want you to be the best that you can in joining such a big company. What can you bring as an individual? So just really try and remain yourself, try and give those honest examples, especially the challenges that you've overcome as well, because as individuals, we've all faced challenges kind of in our past. So really just try and remain as honest as possible when answering the questions. And a final really important point here is to come with your own questions to ask. So at the end of an interview, if you've got a bit of spare time, the champ may say to you, "Do you have anything you want to add? Do you have any questions for me?" So it's not going to look great if you haven't got any questions prepared. So even if it's just a really simple question like, "What do you most enjoy about working at Microsoft?" or perhaps "What has been your career highlight so far?" Any kind of question, the champ will be there to answer it for you. So try and bring a variety in your questions as well, so that you're asking champs different questions throughout the day so that you can get the most out of the interview as well. And just a final point about dress code, it's smart casual. So just as long as you're comfortable on the day, please wear something that's not going to be uncomfortable to sit in, because you will be sitting at your screen for around 2 to 3 hours for the whole interview session. Okay, so the next point is all about feedback. So once you've had your assessment centre and the hard parts out of the way, what happens next? So we pride ourselves here at Microsoft on giving candidates the best feedback we can. So this will happen approximately up to 5 working days after your assessment centre. So all of your feedback will be delivered via a telephone call. And if we can't reach you via call, we'll simply drop you a mail and hopefully we can arrange a time that suits you. We appreciate everyone has their own schedules, so just try and make yourself best available when you have those breaks. You'll receive really critical feedback from all 3 champs merged into kind of one summary that your recruiter will deliver to you. So perhaps what went well, so the areas that they thought you performed really well in, and then a couple of points for improvement. So perhaps something you needed to develop a bit further, or something perhaps you misunderstood, and tips on how to kind of make sure you're understanding questions a little bit better. Then, if you are also made an offer and you are one of the successful candidates, we will give you your feedback first, and then we will say, congratulations, we would like to make you an offer. And then your recruiter will then talk you through your offer package. So this will cover things such as the salary, whether there's any bonus schemes connected to the roles, holiday benefits, all of those kind of things. And we always book in long enough time to answer all your questions as well, as I'm sure you will have many questions for us as recruiters. So that is how the feedback process works. So yeah, please do keep an eye out for a call from us, because hopefully you'll be excited to hear your feedback. So the final point before we close this preparation call for you is some FAQs that are really commonly asked throughout assessment centre processes. So one of the most common things is all to do with tech issues. So what happens on the day if your laptop's broken or your Wi-Fi signal's gone? All of these tech issues can happen. We just say to turn on a little bit before your session, so then at least if something does happen, you can let your recruiter know as soon as possible. We also recommend also installing Teams on another device, so perhaps a mobile or a tablet. So then at least if something does happen to your laptop, you always have a backup answer as well. All of our Teams links work on all devices. So another common question is, what will I do if I require additional assistance or I have additional needs for an interview? So Microsoft is more than happy to assist every single candidate in any way that's needed. We do just ask you give us as much notice as you can. So please, as soon as you've got your interview date confirmed, please just email your recruiter and let us know what your needs are. So if you need additional time on questioning, or if you need auto captions for when the champs are speaking to you, all of these things can be done for you in plenty of time. If you can no longer make the interview, please let us know as soon as possible. Sadly, we can't always guarantee there'll be another slot for you to attend, because we do have very, very limited roles and assessment centres available. But we will always try our best to try and fit you in on another slot if you can't come. And then finally, a really common question that comes up is, how many roles are available? How many other candidates are going to be on my assessment centre, and what are my assessors' names? So unfortunately, for all 3 of these points, we can't actually share any of that above information with you, because it's company policy, I'm afraid. So as soon as you get your confirmation email with your date and time, all you need to know is that when you join that check-in first thing with your recruiter, all the other candidates will be there, so then you'll know how many candidates are going to be with you on the day, and obviously we'll introduce you to your assessors, so you'll know their names by then. And with the role numbers, that's something we don't share on the day as well. So you'll never find out how many roles we're recruiting for. And the reason we do this is because we don't want to put anyone at an advantage or a disadvantage, and we want everyone to be able to perform at their best on the day. So that is the end of our preparation call. So I really hope that you enjoyed listening to me, Margaret and Alex, and hopefully this has really helped you kind of get all the information you need ahead of attending your assessment centre. So this will be uploaded to a secure space which will be shared with you as soon as you're invited to your interview, and please do watch it as many times as you like to ensure you can get as best prepared, and we look forward to seeing you on your assessment centres very soon. Thanks, everybody.